Hello and welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about the mysterious-ish death of King Albert I of Belgium. Albert was born on the 8th of April 1875 and he was the son of Prince Philippe, Count of Flanders and Princess Marie. Albert became King of Belgium on the 23rd of December 1909 after the death of his uncle, King Leopold II. Now, King Albert absolutely loved mountaineering and would often go rock climbing, and it was doing his passion which led to his death. So King Albert's death actually shocked the world, but there are some people that actually questioned his death, like how he died. Was King Albert's death a tragic accident or was he murdered? On the afternoon of the 7th of February 1934, Albert decided that he wanted to go rock climbing. It would only be a quick climb because he had an engagement that evening. Asking his valet to wait in the car, Albert set out to climb in Marche-les-Dames. Afternoon soon turned into evening and Albert had not returned from his climb, so naturally his valet got worried. The valet organised a search party with local villagers and gameskeepers to go find out what happened to the king. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, the king was found dead. He was still attached to his climbing rope and he had a gash on the left side of his head. So almost immediately rumours started going around about the circumstances of Albert's death. People felt that because Albert was such an expert in rock climbing, that there must have been something dodgy about his death. In May 1934, British officer Graham Seton Hutchinson, who had actually formed his own fascist party in Britain, said that Albert had actually been killed because of his efforts to keep peace in Belgium during World War I. In World War I, Albert had refused to allow Germany to pass through Belgium to attack France. But Germany had marched right into Belgium and occupied the country. King Albert had actually personally fought on the Western Front during World War I. So Graham Hutchinson said, "The true facts were that Albert was opposed to war. The biggest piece of spoof put over on the world was the story of Albert's death. A man with a rope around his waist does not go climbing by himself. There were no bruises on the body. In other words, he was wrapped on the back of the head." People thought that the place where Albert's body was found was not where he had died, and this whole area had been staged to make it look like Albert had died of an accident. They reckoned that he had actually been killed elsewhere and then took to the spot where he was found. But this theory doesn't actually work because, as we know, Albert's valet was there waiting for him to finish his climb, unless the valet was actually in on the murder plot. But in 2016, scientists were actually able to squash this rumour and actually proved that Albert died in the place where he was found. So after Albert's death, the place where his body was found became sort of like a pilgrimage site to people. And visitors to the site would actually take souvenirs away of him, like bits of leaf that had blood on it. Visitors to the site actually got so bad that barbed wire was put around it to stop people going there. Now, the people that took the leaves that were covered in blood actually kept the leaves that were covered in blood. And in 2014, a journalist brought some of these leaves. They were tested and the blood that was found on it was confirmed to be human blood. 2 years later, forensic geneticist Martin Lamuseau announced that they could definitely say that the blood on these leaves were that of King Albert. He DNA tested 2 living relatives of King Albert. King Simeon II, the last Tsar and former Prime Minister of Bulgaria, and German Baroness Anna Maria Friedrich von Hohenzollern. So King Albert did die at Marche-les-Dames, but was it an accident or was it murder? So Albert could actually have posed some sort of risk to Germany and the Nazi party that was currently in power in Germany due to his actions in World War I, where he had stood up to and actually fought against Germany. And as we know, Belgium would have been like the gateway to get into France. So there's actually quite a lot of anti-German sentiment in Belgium after World War I, and just like what the British royal family had done, where they changed their family name from Saxe-Coburg and Gotha to Windsor during World War I. In 1920, Albert done the same with his family name, where he changed it also from Saxe-Coburg and Gotha to the House of Belgium. So because of this, and that he would have sort of been a hindrance to Germany's takeover of Europe, basically, was he murdered by supporters of the Nazi Party? But most historians have actually dismissed the murder theory. They reckon that what the official investigation into Albert's death concluded was what happened. So according to the official investigation into his death, Albert could have died by accident of one of two ways. The first was that he had leaned against a boulder at the top of the mountain, and this had gave way, which led to him tumbling down the mountain to his death. The second is that the pinnacle to which his rope was belayed broke and he fell to his death this way. I personally do not think that Albert was murdered. I do think it was an accident, but judging by what happened to his successor during World War II, the murdered by Nazi theory could hold some weight. After the Germans invaded Belgium during World War II, Albert's successor, his son King Leopold III, didn't try to fight them or anything. He actually surrendered the country to Germany. And if Albert was still alive at that time, he probably wouldn't have done this. He would have fought on. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think that King Albert might have been murdered, or was it just a tragic rock climbing accident? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.